Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Gold Investment Letter, Eric here, and I am going to give you a very brief video update. I put out a video earlier in the week on Carlisle commodities, and it was a little longer than I was hoping, but that is very worthwhile for those of you that have not watched that and are either already invested or, you know, like to make 10 times your money, because that's what that deal is. Now, don't go buy much right now. They're still closing a placement by Friday. So we should see, hopefully the thing doesn't take off until after they close. But, I get into detail in that video about some of the fundamentals of the Newton asset. And, this is a special time, guys. One of the things that I'm looking to do, hopefully tonight, is it's a video going through probably 10 or so, 8 or 10 examples of when Gold Investment Letter got involved early or in a bad market in some stocks, like we're seeing with some of our many of our companies, that are in the shitter, that are in the gutter, that have been going down with a trend of a 3+ year bear market. And the bottom line is this is a type of time when if you've got income, okay, and you're able to put away some of these special situations and stocks in the middle metals and minerals and crypto, quite frankly, this is where you make those 10, 20, 40, 80x situations. And I just want to put that video together to show some of the buying power that GIL has in a better market. And when I put the spotlight on things right now, sometimes it's almost crickets, right? And that tells me something. That tells me, with the severity of it, especially with the summer doldrums and everything, that I'm putting my money to work consistently. And I'm also down. I was just having a conversation with some folks about Phenom and like Lodestar, and just the fact that these things are screaming buys, and I'm down like 40% unrealized losses on Phenom and 50 on Lodestar. So what did I do after that call? I convinced myself, and I just bought another 100,000 Lodestar, and I'm going to go into Phenom next and buy some more Phenom. And I already bought some more Giga this week, and I've got funds hitting an account on Friday, and I'm going to go shopping. And so that is something that I know that's sticking with this market at this point, guys. If you're here, stay the course. It can get very testy on our resolve and our mentality during these long bear cycles. It can really, it can weigh on us a bit at times. We all have our days, but I'm here to encourage you without even just talking about details of economics and markets, in the most simplistic form. Metals and mining companies and the commodity sector in general is a cyclical place. Unless you believe, this is the main thing, unless you believe that due to 0% artificial interest rates for such a long period of time, that the cyclicality of these markets are gone forever, then you want to be a buyer right now of very cheap companies and very cheap assets. And we will have chances to sell this stuff at multiples higher in the future. When in the future, I don't care. I don't know. I don't really know. I think that we're going to get a pretty good relief rally in September, October. The gold stocks are touching down. They're oversold. They're touching long-term support, and at places where they've reversed. And I was having a discussion with a friend and colleague last night about how this market reminds me of the summer and fall and even the end of the year in 2015. That was the end of a 4-year brutal bear market that saw January a flip of a switch, where from middle of January 2016 until July, 7 months, we saw the indexes like GDXJ triple. And some of these stocks went up 5 or 10 fold in that time, very short period of time. I don't know that I want that to happen again, like 2016, because that was actually probably still within the confines of a secular bear market. But this time it may be that it's strong, but it's more of a steady move and it just keeps on powering for years. That's what I think is actually going to be the case. And I would welcome that because that means that we're going to have a sustainable environment in which just to be raining down 3 pointers over and over and over again. And that'll be fun until that day. Right now, I just wanted to update you guys. I just went into the market on this little dip below 60 cents on Max Power. They've got, this is a group that is very active every single week or every couple of weeks, more and more news on 3 different levels. I like this story a lot. It's my favorite lithium story. Lithium stocks have held in better than most, and some have had big rip roaring successes in a couple of years. Sorry, I'm dealing again. My dogs are shedding. It's very hot in Wisconsin actually right now, and it always tends to go right in my mouth and nose. But the hair, the thing with the lithium plays is that we've not come to any sort of a crescendo on a top frenzy top in the electric vehicle battery metal markets. That is to come. And lithium will be a primary one that I think is going to make a lot of money. And the reason why I'm even participating at this juncture, going into what I think will be the Pareto principle, which is that 80% of the gains in a bull market happen in the last 20% of time. And so in the case of MAXX, which has been in the queue for 2 years, putting together a substantial favorable land package in Nunavik, which I've had reports from the ground recently that things are looking exceptional for their field program, turning into what will be a very aggressive drill program coming up in September, October. And there are a number of companies that are drilling and moving forward, and we will start to see assays piling in. And I believe that the Nunavik area in Quebec is going to be a bit of a frenzy area to get exposure because it will be the next big lithium district discovery, maybe the biggest in Canada. It'll certainly be the newest, and the size of it is incredible. MAXX has a very favorable land position there, ahead of the curve. They're cashed up. They also have brine properties in Arizona, which are very, very prospective, and were essentially, you'd call him probably the king or one of the kings of the lithium discovery space in Canada, Andy Bowering, put his blessing on these Arizona properties as being very, very prospective for Max Power. They'll be drilling those, no doubt, over the winter season when it's a little tougher in Nunavik. So we've got year-round activity with various exciting assets. Their DLE lithium extraction technology progress that we just saw some news out on that, which was out on Monday. Very interesting with UC Berkeley. And last but not least, I'm just getting into this with MAXX because I see a breakout here. We're going to need to go above just a little bit higher, and we've already peaked above that range around 65 cents. My suggestion is for those of you that don't have enough MAXX, don't have any MAXX, we're coming into a period here where very likely, even into next week, I think we might be seeing the start of it today in some of the metals and mining stocks, that we're going to get a bid for once, a relief rally in the metals and miners. And the best relative strength plays like MAXX that have held up and actually stayed higher through the summer are going to be the ones to lead it. And so MAXX up to 65 cents Canadian should be all bought up by GIL members right now. And that is, I think, a very predictable breakout. The next move goes into the high 70s, low 80s, where there's going to be a cap probably temporarily on the stock. And maybe we see 1 or 2 tries from there in September. But once that is broken, there are blue skies for Max Power. I think we could see $1.50 or so Canadian, which is almost a triple from here in Q1, by Q1. Let's say it that way. There's a lot of action coming up on Max Power in September, October, and November. So we could see it a double or triple in the next few months. So I would suggest getting your positions on in MAXX. I'm going to save more updates for the next video and write-up, which is going to even start tonight. I'm going to go through some of these plays that I'll screen share charts of just reminding us of the amounts of money that we've made in the past and could have made, and what we could have done to learn from certain environments, certain stocks, and anticipate some of the incredible rushes of capital that we were ahead of in many instances. I'm looking back at the Golden Triangle frenzy of 2017 when we were in there buying Garibaldi, well under $1, well under, 50 cents, early on in that frenzy that took, Garibaldi to $5 in a 4 month period of time, from 20 some cents to $5, and 40 million shares at an average over $2 a share on average per month for 5 months. $100 million plus of capital flows that came after we identified what was to be a very exciting discovery that was then squandered. But in any event, opportunities to make 20 times your money, 10 times your money. Metallis, which had been identified very cheap and went from 15 cents to $2, and I think it was 60 cents or something like that in a very short period of time. Right now reminds me things like Lodestar, Carlisle, and others, are reminding me of when we were able to identify buying Gungnir back in 2015 at a half a penny to a penny, and that stock ended up going to 40 cents. So theoretically, you could have made 80 times your money if you bottom and top ticked it. And then that doesn't include the warrant that I had mentioned. A lot of us had rolled into a 3 cent financing with a 5 cent warrant. So you add that 35x on top, you're over 100x on a Gungnir that occurred for people. And so you could miss that by a big factor and have, made 10, 50 times your money. And we're in that environment right now. So let's just keep our eye on the prize. I think, you don't do anything all at once, but you do want to be in some of these plays that are going to see some major action, like MAXX in the coming weeks. And then, there will be probably some of these plays that lag and then see tax loss selling to keep them, bargains into, November. And so what I'm hoping for and what I think will happen is I'm going to have major profits on stuff like Max Power and Atlas Salt, that can be taking my principal risk out of that and then go shopping for some of these plays that haven't really moved yet or are still suppressed into October, November in the tax loss selling season. So that is my update for today, guys. Have a good day.